Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Oh, that was really nice. My name is Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi. And our topic today is embracing our changing, aging world, welcoming wisdom with openness and grace. Yeah,
That's
openness, softening. We talked about how we change, like the way we want to travel as we get older.
Yeah.
Eddi found that out recently.
Just from experience, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's it. That's why we share it and talk about it. And
yeah, we can either fight it kicking or screaming, or we can, just notice it and welcome it and be open to it. And I feel like when we're more open, when we have these conversations, and we touch on a lot of different things, then we can not only just embrace and welcome where we at, but thrive and, really enjoy the new stages of our life.
Yeah. Embracing. Let's embrace the aging, the changing, all of it.
All of it. Hello, Eddi. Look at us in pink.
Hello, Ken. You're in your pink and I'm in my pink.
Mm-hmm.
Our pinks.
Yep. And
Well,
if you're listening to us, you can just visualize Corinne in bright pink and Eddi in like a very faded baby pink.
Yeah.
Very, very like a little baby would be wrapped in a little pink blanket.
Yeah. That's me.
That's you. You're a little baby.
Yeah. All peaceful and calm. Little peaceful baby. So how have you been?
I'm good. We just have a never ending, it's not summer, but we've had cold and then warm and I'm just out doing more stuff in the yard. I just can't get enough.
I know, you're so lucky. You've got all these beautiful days. I keep looking at your weather and our weather, and we're not going to talk about the weather, but here it's sweater weather.
No, there's something beautiful about sweater weather.
Yes, I like sweater weather. But I see that your temps, have stayed pretty hot and
no, I wouldn't say hot,
sunny.
But yeah. I mean, I do have my shorts on t-shirt. Yeah.
That's good.
And it is. Yeah. So I moved strawberries today. I propagated strawberries because usually when you're in a I don't know, usually people will propagate strawberries in the spring, but we propagate them here in the winter so that they can ground and then you get early strawberries in like March and April.
Well, this is a changing world.
Did I say change or did you just jump up that?
I just jumped right into it.
You were tired of talking about strawberries.
Or the weather.
Yeah. So our bodies and our minds change. I was talking to the pharmacist, to the compounding pharmacist today, Mark, the guy you like. I was going to ask him, like, how long do I, and it was in my mind, he was telling something. It's like, I got to ask him, like, do I have to stop on my hormones when I do the saliva test? And then I spaced on it. He finished. I'm like, I forget what I was going to ask you. It was really important. As soon as we hung up, I was like, shit, I guess I'm going to ask you that. So then I'll have to ask Eddi that. And Kathy Savage just did it too. And she's like, he said, you can just stop. Like you can do it the night before, but don't do it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do the saliva test all day long. And then you can do it. So you're only really stopping it for one day. Is that what you say?
I like him. He knows his stuff. Yeah. That's why I've known him a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 25 years.
And he's kept up on all this hormones and the changes. And there's so much that we have to embrace, right? There's so much, like just even the shift in our hormones.
Yeah. And I feel like we do, I guess we all do different things better, but like, because I did not go on bioidentical hormones for quite some time. Like a lot of ladies go in their mid 50s, right? Or early
and some
50s.
In their 40s. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't go on until I was 60. But I feel like when things are prevalent, we'll pay more attention, but things more subtle, it takes a while. So that's why having a good friend to talk through things with, because we all have these blind spots. So we wanted to talk today about, just how our bodies and minds change and the importance of really moving with that, because a lot of the struggles we see and whether it's with our own selves or the people we work with or our friends around us is when they're trying to be and do what they used to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's real. And it doesn't mean you may not do some of those things again, But that's what I think people think when they're trying to do what they always did. Like, I don't know what is that that we want so hard to do what we've always done before, you
It's
know?
comfort. It's comfort. It's just, it's like we think that we know how it's going to play out, but there's so many moving parts. It's always changing. So it's not going to play out that way. So that's why even our language around everything is changing because it's different. It's received different. We even, us kind of picking words and what the titles and things are going to be, like even that's changing where
Hmm.
20 years ago we could rattle off something really quick with no intense awareness and just go with it. And now we put a lot of thought and a lot
Hmm.
of how's this going to land when we say it, and we can't be in control of how it's going to land, what ears
Hmm.
are going to hear it and in what way. But the delivery of what we're trying to do, with sharing information in our lives and embracing the changes and even sharing all that, it's continually morphing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
I think the pain is when when we try to do things and that we'd want things the way they used to be. I think that's really what it
well,
is.
yeah, because I think we stick the story onto it, and then
Yeah.
the story of what that type of pain is and why it feels painful, and rather than, you and I keep learning and we keep the people that we see and work with, we keep sharing that. Sometimes we just have to sit with it, sit with the
Hmm.
feeling, sit with the emotion, and sit with whatever it is we're feeling that's changing us, or maybe it's not changing us. Maybe it hurt our feelings. Maybe it,
Hmm.
you know, maybe it stirred jealousy. Maybe it stirred, right? Like
Hmm.
there's sadness. So
Hmm.
we sit with it and go, where's it landing? How is it feeling? How am I moving through this? And as we get older, if we're doing the work, we start to find that it doesn't stick. It moves through and moves on like a
Hmm.
river, like garbage in the water. It's like,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, it was there. Now it's gone. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's what I try to work on.
Hmm.
But, life is beautiful and life is always happening, and we're around family and friends and who are also doing their growth work, and
Or not,
or not,
you
or
know.
just staying the same.
You see people
So
struggle and it's like, we don't what happens when we see people from our perspective of what they think they're suffering or they're in pain, then we project how we would feel, and we really can't ever know how exactly somebody's feeling. And so allowing them their suffering and their pain too, that's I think as we get older, a nice thing to, it's not that we don't help people if they need help, but allowing people their own pain, and
mhm.
sitting in why do we feel uncomfortable when somebody else is in pain?
Yeah,
Why do we try
yeah,
to fix it? We've talked about that on a lot on the last retreat Alea and I did a few weeks ago. And Jamina's really into this too. She gets really ticked off if you pass her a tissue when she's crying. She's like, "No, I want all the snot and the what. I just want it there." I'm like, "I want it, my emotions." And we're like, "Why do we?" And for me, when I pass somebody a tissue, it's really a connection. It's not that I don't mind. I don't want them to stop crying. I have no
mhm.
problem. But some people it is. Some people they don't want people to cry. Like, don't cry.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's interesting our feelings around that. So, and then our bodies, the whole bodies thing, we talk about that all the time. It's like how our bodies change and what we used to be able to do and what we can do now. And
yeah.
travel, that was the impetus
uh
one because,
the traveling, because I just got back from traveling, right, and doing a really, my God, 20 to 30,000 steps a day as we walked around London and Paris and trains. And, it was like, wow, this at 30 seems so easy. At 40 seems so easy. At 60, I'm like, not so easy. I'm going to change my itinerary next time. So, yeah, because we start to feel, the discomfort with the traveling and the intensity and so much going that I really feel at this point in my life, I love the travel piece and I understand the cruise ships and people going for just one destination because I get it. Because we were changing every 3 days, but that one destination, you're there, you settle in,
Well, the cruise ship
there's
isn't one
ease.
destination, it's many destinations, but it's
Yeah, but you're on
one.
a boat. You're
Right.
on one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, but okay. So this is the distinction. You haven't cruised
because I've
before, right?
never done a cruise ship.
I've done a ton of
Okay.
cruises. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, so
Straighten
is
me out here, okay?
yeah. So no, I mean, you're close.
Yeah.
It's like a traveling hotel. So you get to unpack your clothes for a week or
Yes.
2 weeks, however long your cruise is, and you don't have to move your clothes. You sleep in
Yes.
the same bed every night. You get a little mint on your pillow. They make your bed for you. It's like a really nice hotel that's
Hmm.
moving all around.
Yes.
And then you get to go visit these little ports. And
Oh,
yes, it's
yes.
touristy, but you get to go see maybe what you'd like to go back to and go for longer, you
Hmm.
know?
Well,
And
that's what I meant with just your luggage and
yes, I
everything is
just
in one place. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But you just said you go and you're in one place, but it's the actual opposite. It's like a traveling hotel. So
Yeah.
I knew
I
what you
mean, you're
meant, but
in
I just
one
want to,
place in a room, like in yeah, you don't
you're
have to
sleeping
pack
in
up.
one place. You're not in one
Yes.
place at all. You're constantly
Yes.
traveling, but your room is not traveling.
I,
so
I
as so
get it.
so it's something that Eddi has never been drawn to in her entire life, never had the drawn to do a cruise. I used to
No.
cruise all the time with my mom because she worked for the airlines and we used to get cruises for cheap and I just thought it was fun, right? But
Yep.
Eddie's like, no, a lot of people are like, I don't want to be stuck on him. My brother, he would never do a cruise. We'll see how when he
Yeah.
gets older. But
Well,
that's
that's
why,
exactly it. That's
right.
embracing the change, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're you start getting some limitations. So it might be your feet, it could be, your knees, hips, like things like this start to happen. Backs, some beds aren't great. So we start to embrace and go and be okay with saying, you know what, maybe next time we'll do it this way instead of, God, this getting old. Like, oh, I wish I had my pillow and my bed and my knees hurt and where's my brace? And we start going, being okay with it and going, what is it that we want to do? The traveling. Do we want to go to destinations for the sun or the beach or just to chill? Are we going to walk through a museum? Do we have a list that's a mile long that's irrational at this
Mm-hmm.
point? You know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
being okay that you did two things out of the 10. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that on the planning and allowing talk too. But
Mm-hmm.
this one is more because our body, we're embracing the aging, and not that we're speeding up aging of it, but we're embracing just the changes that go along with it and being okay with it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like
yeah,
look slowing down and being just having a sense of like openness and being soft with yourself because we live in a youth and beauty culture. And so really softening your approach. So like Eddi was saying, like instead of like being pissed off on your vacation that you've been planning, just like, oh, wow, this is not something I enjoy anymore. So let's make the best of this now. Change is needed. And next time I think I'll book something
mhm,
a little differently, and
yeah,
I'll spend a little more money on a nicer hotel. I mean, for me, that happened a long time ago. I used to do a lot of hostel type things when I was in my 20s and then stop doing that in my 30s. But then I would still stay in cheaper places in India. And now it's like, no, give me a like 4 or 5 star hotel and I am so happy and I'm just treating myself,
yeah.
and so you can have fun with it too. So it's really like welcoming, just like welcoming the changes with a tenderness for yourself and even if the resistance comes up of like, can't believe I don't like that anymore. I don't, my mind doesn't work that quickly in the train. Like I've always had a hard time with train and bus stations in other countries. Like I have a hard time with trains and bus stations in this country.
Yeah.
And I've just always known that about myself. It's something that causes like a little anxiousness in me. Airports,
Hmm.
no problem.
Hmm.
But, so even navigating like the not just the beds, but all the, a new city and figuring out the maps and everything, like driving and all, like we found out in
Hmm.
Sicily, right? Like that
Yeah,
was
it's a
just like,
lot.
yeah, we had discussed beforehand that we didn't really want to do a third world country, and we just didn't realize that Sicily is almost a third world country. Italy's not, but Sicily is the poor part. So yeah, like we'd like a spa vacation now,
Yeah,
please, and
we
thank you.
do. We do.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll put that
Put that
on
on
our
the
list
list.
of to-dos. I love Maya Angelou's saying. She says if you can't change it, um if you don't like something and you can't change it, then just change your attitude towards it.
Yes, so
Something
true.
like that. It's not exactly those words, but
Yeah,
that's
no blaming or
yeah,
complaining. That's not,
no, just no,
it's like, because
just
that's
and that
useless.
starts to happen and that's how I want to embrace aging. I don't want to be complaining about it. I don't want to go, oh God, I wish we hadn't, well, we're taking another bus, another
Hmm.
train. I just go, you know what? Wow, let's do this, see the countryside. This is what we're doing. And this is what we do. And then
Hmm.
if we need to shorten a trip or we just want to change plans, do it. Like,
Hmm.
we just got to ease up on ourselves and we don't have to feel like we have to do everything that we've done like in the past at the speed that we've done it.
Yeah, and the people that I talk to that fight that, like they're really pissed off that they can't do what they used to do. Like, well, why can't I? I want to get back there. I want to da 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 da.
Hmm.
And it's like it's first of all, it's not very enjoyable and it doesn't change anything. And
Hmm.
so just soften with that. Just be tender with that.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, what can I do today? And just bring it closer to yourself instead of thinking about what you can't do. Because nothing is a problem unless we think about it. That's
It's
like,
true. It's true because people get into their 50s and 60s, especially, and start saying things like, oh, I got to travel now because, I won't be doing a lot of
mm-hmm,
traveling in the next 5 or 10 years. You don't know that. You
mm-hmm.
know, you don't know that. That's
No,
not
there's no
present
guarantee.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
don't know. You got to stay in this beautiful moment and go, what is it I want to do? And
Mm-hmm.
it's,
And it's
yeah.
such a beautiful privilege. Like I always come back to, I think I've mentioned this once before, but when I first started to have a little bit more financial freedom, just within my own being, because you can have financial freedom, doesn't at any age really. It's really a mind state.
Mhm.
But I remember one of my favorite scenes in a movie was from Fried Green Tomatoes when Kathy Bates pulls into a grocery store and this young girl um, zooms into her spot right in front of her just as she was parks in front of her and flaunts her and just is like, you old bit. And she said something really nasty to Kathy Bates too, and just young, beautiful girl, right? And then Kathy Bates like backs into her car. When the girl comes out, she starts hitting her car like on purpose. The young girl goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you crazy? You crazy bitch! You." And Kathy's like you may be young and beautiful, but I'm older and I have better insurance. You know,
Yeah.
and so I actually think about that a lot. It's like I so appreciate the freedom that I have now in all the things I had to or thought I had to worry about when I was younger. And now
Mhm.
that I don't worry about it, and I love that change and some of the financial freedom and the not worrying, being able to buy nice things. If I want to buy a $500 jacket, I do, and
Good for you.
I don't buy one a month, but like it's like
Yeah.
and organic groceries and things like that and so just like treating myself
Yeah.
and just enjoying being who I am and where I am in my life right now.
Yeah. And that's important with anything. That's important. Even if you're out in your garden, you know, with your big zucchinis and carrots and your harvest that you get, like there's just such joy in that too, isn't there? There's such
There's
a,
joy and simplicity, and I can tell
yeah,
you, like it seems easy because you and I do love this, but I can tell you to every one person that enjoys the garden, there's probably 100 that are lonely because they're alone in their garden,
yeah,
you know?
Hmm.
or that they live alone, so I have to take the garbage out. Like I know a lot of single girls are like, but I've got to do so much by myself. And I'm like, I love doing things by myself. I don't have to compromise with anything. I can book anything, I can do anything. It's not that I'm not open to a relationship, but I really appreciate I've been in both throughout my life, and I
Hmm.
love the perks of being in a relationship, but I also really love the perks of being single too. Like both same.
Yeah, it is what it is,
Hmm.
right? It is what it is. You're
Enjoy where we're
staying in,
at.
enjoying where we're at. Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a um what was it? Oh, something I wrote down. I wrote what you just said reminded me, and it was Maya Angelou again. And I wrote this down, and she said, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody."
Hmm.
And when you just said that, I went, I just wrote that down today.
Yeah. It's a
Like even if
beautiful
you're,
thing that you,
isn't it?
yeah, it's beautiful. And I think you
Yeah.
start to, I feel like you really start to get that as you get older. Like I found, remember last year we were listening to Julie, actually a year and a half ago, we were listening to Julie Louise Dreyfus's Wiser Than Me podcast. We were so excited about it. She interviewed, and then she didn't come out with any new episodes. And they
Yeah.
kept saying new episodes coming soon. So I stopped following. I'm like, it's been over a year now. Like where then all of a sudden season three popped up and I'm like, okay, what the hell happened to season two? So then I went and I guess she's has a company called Lemonada that's her. And so they have other podcasts. And so it's a subscription, which I'm not going to pay a subscription for
Yeah.
podcasts at this time. And so now that she has season three for the paid Lemonada ones, she's now offering season two, just all
Oh.
came out all at once. So you can go to
Oh.
Wiser Than Me with Julia Louise Dreyfus. She interviews a lot of cool people. I listened to Bonnie Raitt yesterday, and also Julie Andrews. I didn't listen to that one yet. Julie Andrews is coming up. And then another one I listened to. Oh, Sally Fields, one of my faves.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
listen to those.
And
Yeah.
so Bonnie Raitt's 76 and
Amazing.
Sally Fields is 77, probably 78 now because it was a year ago now. And
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews got to be in her 90s probably.
Yeah.
And yeah, just there. And she always asked them, what would you tell your 21-year-old self? What would you tell your 21-year-old self, Ed?
Enjoy your life. Have the courage to be disliked.
Ooh, that's a good one. Have the
That
courage to
come
be just
quick or
like,
what?
yeah, that's great. That's being in the moment, feeling in your heart. What would you tell your younger self? I
Hmm.
would tell my younger self, just relax. It's all going to be okay.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
try to pick men that are worthy of you.
Yeah,
Bonnie
but
Raitt said that.
yeah, and you hope you do. You hope you do, but you can't be inside their head, you know?
Well, you
You
just
can't be
go,
inside. You really hope, and you have to have that opinion of yourself that, you're sharing your life with somebody and you're pretty dang special, right? Like it took me a long time to stop trivializing myself.
wow.
Yeah, right? And we all do that.
How would you trivialize yourself, Ed? Can you give me an example?
I think musically, when people would comment, "Oh my God, Ed, that song was gorgeous. You sing beautifully," or "That really moved me."
Mm,
I was like, "Oh, there's so many people that are better." I
I
always
see.
had
I
that.
see.
Yeah. So, or
Yeah.
just thinking, I don't know, just
It's a
that
good
there were so many
example.
people doing so many amazing things that I now realize as I've gotten older, my own life and how I've lived it, it'd be a great book, be a great movie. There's a lot that has happened in it. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So, that's gone. And it's not so much as self-esteem. It's just, or it's more worthiness, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I loved how you put I just stopped realizing myself and your examples were perfect. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, the worthiness piece is big for for a lot of people, but it
Yeah,
shows
the
up
old me.
differently.
Yeah, the old me wouldn't have even shared that. You know that.
Oh, I do. You old me,
Yeah.
the old you would not do this podcast.
No, no, no,
So I feel very,
no,
very lucky that we're doing it.
no. It's just, I mean, this is something, hey? Like if
Yeah.
I was gone tomorrow, this is a legacy. We've talked
Yeah.
all this stuff. So hopefully we get lots of time to share. And that's the beautiful part about aging is that you embrace the changes, you love the life you're in. This is the only life you can live. You can't live
Yeah.
anybody else's life.
No, no.
And you got to
And
love this one, you
yeah, and you
know?
can admire other people, that's fine,
Hmm.
but not at the expense of trivializing yourself, right? We can appreciate other people, be
Yeah.
inspired by them, or think, oh, I wouldn't want that. But it's really about, yeah, just being in your own life, just opening
Hmm.
to what's here for you.
Yeah.
And it sounds simple when we say it, but I feel like most people on the planet fight their own lives. And,
Hmm.
hopefully, as we get older, this is naturally we do start to open to our own life, but it's not necessarily a guarantee,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. But it's also understanding is like the topic we picked, embracing the change. It's
Welcoming wisdom. Yeah. Embracing our
em,
changing, aging
em-
world.
yeah, embracing it, right? It is. It's a changing, aging world. Even the planet, like everything's aging. The planet
Yes. Yes. Time
ages,
is
right?
going by. Yes.
Time
Yes.
is going by. I watch footages of things of they're finding, villages 5,000 BC, right? I'm going, what?
No, Eddie, they have found villages 75,000 years ago now.
Oh,
So
I'm
if
not
are
up to
you
that episode.
yeah, so you watching the Graham yeah. So that's just the
Wow.
first part that they find 5,000 and that's what they've agreed upon. But
Yeah.
as he goes deeper and they go into deeper layers, they got to 75,000 years ago there was intelligent life like humans that were had communities and
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
And
they
so
have the
that's mind
gravitational seismic radar detecting equipment now. They're going
yeah.
50 meters under the ground and grabbing samples of soil. And I'm watching this going, wow. And that pyramids are put on top of old ancient, like this is fabulous, like to
Yeah,
even
that we can
watch
see.
this
Yeah.
and absorb it. But
It's
it's
on
just
Netflix right
like,
now.
yeah. But it's incredible because it's also sharing just around the world, like in Mexico and
Mhm.
Indonesia and Egypt, and just how the layout of all of it is similar, you know? It's yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you
ancient
travel.
wisdom.
Yeah,
Woo.
ancient. Yeah, I think it's called Ancient Civilizations. I'll find out and I'll
Mhm.
put it. I'll put not a link to it, but I'll put the name of it. It's Graham Hancock. Ancient somethings. I think it's
That
called
would be
Ancient
we
Civilizations.
should have a whole podcast about that. That's just
Well,
like
that's his lane.
yeah.
But I mean, we can do
No,
whatever we want. It's
I'm
our
joking.
podcast.
Well, yeah, we can do yeah, we'll talk
But
about
yeah,
pyramids.
yeah, it's just so interesting. He goes and he says the reason why for, the last 100 years, they know that there was, intelligent communities and cultures 5,000 years ago. So they've sort of stated that. And so it's really hard to get them to change that because but now that they're finding it but there's still a real, especially from the community that the diggers,
The archaeologists.
archaeologists that they're resisting because they have a paradigm that they've created and they'd have to destroy, and just like
Well,
how,
we have to
the whole,
destroy history
yeah,
books.
exactly. I mean, just like, the whole, the cultures, the, indigenous cultures, that,
Yeah.
there was so much history that was incorrect about that. And we're slowly starting to write that,
Hmm.
um, or at least acknowledge that,
Yeah.
and it's happened all over the world. So
Yes.
yeah, 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 we're such a little blip,
We are.
you
We
know?
are. We're just a little blip on the radar. And to think all the wisdom that's held within us, like it's just, there's so much. And we just go back into that ancient wisdom again, that little bits of sand.
Yeah, it's like the beach wouldn't be a beach without each grain of sand.
Hmm.
Each grain of sand has to be there to make a beach. but then if you look, it's like seems not important. So it's all important and not important
Mm-hmm.
all at the same time. That's the paradox of living.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like we take ourselves far too seriously. That's when we live in the ego, as Alea would say, when we live in separation.
Yeah.
So living in separation means that we live thinking that, you live in separation. It's like thinking that you're not connected to the earth, not connected to the trees, and not connected to another human being. And
Yeah.
physically, it looks like we're not connected, but the food we eat turns into our bodies and we go back to the earth
Absolutely.
after we die, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
Mm-hmm.
recycled stuff. We're breathing the air breathed that Jesus and Abraham
Mm-hmm.
breathed, and
Mm-hmm.
probably 75,000 years, whoever we don't know who they were. Or maybe it was us.
Maybe. I don't know. Who
We don't
knows, right?
know.
The mystery, the inquiry.
Yeah. Yeah. Mystery for sure. It is a mystery. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, just that's what's so much more interesting is opening to the mystery of life. That's a good podcast. Is
Yeah.
opening to the mystery
Yeah.
of life instead of, fighting what's inevitable and the most natural thing in the world, which is aging. Everything on
Mm-hmm.
the planet's aging. And it's also
Mm-hmm.
renewing at the same time, just like our own cells. They're aging, but they're also renewing at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
Renewing,
all,
restoring,
mhm,
regenerating,
yeah,
resetting.
yeah.
It's all
And just being soft with all of it and knowing that it's it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like I've got a good example. One of my clients, I don't know if I've talked about her before. I might have, but her husband is super active. He was a marathon runner and everything, and he's in his late 70s maybe now, and he just got diagnosed like he might be in a wheelchair the rest of his life now.
mm,
And so mourning that, she's like, I don't know what he's going to do because he's been active his whole life. He's never meditated. He doesn't sit still, and I'm like, well, and she's working through this now with their therapist, but it's like knowing that just because this is just a new stage of your life. And yes, go through the mourning process of you're not aging as you thought you would, you know,
mm-hmm.
but there's no guarantees for any of us. So really being able to see where we're at with grace and clarity and softness.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we need to shift things? Where do we need to travel differently? Show up differently. Our schedules are different. I see my friends in yoga that come to yoga that are, oh, this one friend, she's just like, she's in her 60s and she's running a marathon and she's in so much pain. And her life is so busy with grandkids and work and just like there's like not even a minute to listen to a podcast.
Mm.
And she's not softening. And, I mean, I wish she would soften just a little bit and slow down just a wee
She
little
will.
bit.
She
Yeah.
will. In her time, right? Some people get it in their time and
Yeah,
some
everybody's
don't,
different. Yeah, it's like
you know?
who am I to know how she is to live but I can see
Mm-hmm.
her body, knowing her body for many years, I can see her body starting to break down in her and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and so just being really tender with ourselves, with our friends, with
Mm-hmm.
our coworkers and looking at things as clearly as we can,
Well, it's
you
like
know.
even that balance of fitness, as we get older, it's not the heavy weights that work anymore. It's the light weights
Mm-hmm.
and a few repetitions. It's either 5 or 10 pounds and it's 3 reps, of 10 bicep curls. It's
Mm-hmm.
not 140-pound deadlift anymore.
Yeah.
There's a big shift right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So they're still doing weights. They're still showing up we work in things into our life because the routine's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So even with runners who are still wanting to do marathons, um, it's hopefully they're gentle with their bodies,
Mm-hmm.
but they get it when they get it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not gentle with your body, it's gonna talk to you.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And some
yes.
people need to learn and shift with a sledgehammer.
Yep.
And some people need just a little breeze of a little wind.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I used to get my lessons with a sledgehammer when I was younger, and I hopefully have learned to listen now. That's why I love meditating, is listening.
Yes, but it's
Yeah.
all interconnected. So it's all, everything from eating well to getting good sleep to exercising or walking or being in nature, meditation, yoga, right? Like little fitness, right? It's learning, all of it.
Yeah.
There's,
And different. That's the thing is that it's, I feel like, I have this theory. It's like when we're young, we're not as aware, like say 0 to 14 with 15, whatever. We're not as aware. We're just like new in this planet and life is just going aging. And so our body is changing really quickly,
mhm,
but we're not really aware of it because we're just, we're young and we're living in the, and then right about the time where we become a more aware that we're a human on the planet interacting with other humans, we're, teenager type of thing. And then our bodies, like right around 16, 17, they sort of, then they're the same for the next 20 years, 25, sometimes even 30 years. Nothing changes too much in the body unless you get really sick, right?
mhm.
So then that gets cemented. I feel like that's why we get so cemented. And it's like we have routines that we do that work for us for like 20 years.
Yeah,
And then we're shocked when we turn 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, somewhere around in there, when all of a sudden we can't do what we've done for 20 years because there is this period of time. And then it's like this full circle. Then the body, when you hit 50, I feel like it was mid 50s when my body really started to change, like my skin
hmm,
really started to change, like stuff's coming up. Not as fast as when you're a child, 1 to 10, but
yeah,
it's changing. And so I feel like that's one of the reasons why we have such a hard time.
yeah.
What do
Well,
you think
which
of
is
that
why
theory?
we're working on changing the narrative
Yes.
with aging.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of
Yeah.
everything we talk about
Yeah.
is, just trying to, wrap our own heads around it as we, go through life and we're aging and we're talking about it and we're sharing experiences
Yeah.
and
We love doing
yeah,
the podcast.
we do. We love
Mhm.
getting to see each other and talking about stuff and
We got some fun ideas in the future.
yeah, we do.
We do.
Yep.
We're going to be spending almost a full month together in February. I'm so excited because we didn't see each other in person at all for 2024.
Nope, we
Not
didn't.
no, and
And
so we're
we've not done that in a long time.
not in a long time. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
we've
got to
seen each
yeah.
other.
Yeah, but we've been luckily the podcast has saved us and
Yep.
FaceTime and all that. So I'm excited about filming. We're gonna with our course we're been diligent working on our course every week of the
Hmm.
W50 wellness 8 week course. It's not 3 month anymore. It's 8 week,
Yeah.
and then we're excited about doing some filming some episodes of stuff in the kitchen and stuff in the garden and stuff with fermenting and Eddi's
Hmm.
healthy. I mean, Eddi's amazing with her healthy eating and her smoothies and her stuff. Yeah. And
Well,
just doing
we're
some
gonna have
filming.
fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna so it'll be part of the podcast and part of the course and yeah, just keep being creative and because there's our when we there has to be there's a natural grieving process when we all of a sudden realize maybe our brain isn't working the same or we don't like traveling the same or bodies aren't the same, whatever it is. And then when we when we start to embrace and like welcome, then there's all creativity for new ways of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of what we are trying to do is just grow a beautiful like-minded community of us women here and if men want to listen in too, great, they will because they learn from us women, the smart ones.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And we build a community, and then you don't feel so alone out there trying to, muck through the world and figure out, do I need hormone cream? Do I need an herb? Do I need just a good talk? Do I need,
Hmm.
just to go to a spa? Do I need whatever it is, just to
Hmm.
change my diet? Like these are the things we help you dig deep into your history and why do I behave like this? And is it the food I'm eating or the way I'm eating it? Like these are all the things we're going to
Hmm.
talk about and
Hmm.
share and dive into the big soup.
Hmm. Creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to welcome creativity and embrace our changing, aging bodies and our changing, aging worlds.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
It's helped me, because these conversations have really helped me.
Oh, me too. Me too. Even when people say to me, "Are you going to do something to your skin? Like, are you going to do the Botox and stuff?" And I'm like, "Why? Do I look like I need to?" They're like, "No, you know, your skin looks really good." I was like, "Well, no, because I think I'm good. I'm good right now. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I might wake up one day and go, but no, right now it's moving good. Where my focus isn't on my face." It's on toning my legs now and keeping my feet supported and my arms with some muscles in them,
There you
So,
go.
but everybody's got their thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to each their own. So,
Yeah.
yes, we're just here to support and talk about it and
not make it such a taboo. Nothing's taboo. We'll talk about anything.
No.
Yeah.
Just choices.
All right, Ed. Thank you. It was awesome. Love you.
It was awesome. Love you too. Thanks for listening.